Hey guys, what's going on? Will here, Flawless Crested Geckos, coming to you guys with another video. And this week we're going to do another one for the Diamond series. And I guess right around this time of year, you're looking at all your pairings as you move forward and working your projects, and you're trying to figure out what do you want to do with certain things. Well, we go through that as well, kind of all year around, and we bounce things off of each other and try to come up with different game plans. There's something that actually is kind of the opposite of what we kind of bring to the table, but for example, when we bring things out, when we do new website release or new gecko release, typically we try to offer bigger geckos. We found that, in the past, it really helps us. We still get a few people that, request smaller babies to grow them up, and we get it. We understand it. And we try to produce geckos of quality that make people want to kind of improve their own programs and their own projects. That being said, a lot of the time when you have breeders that are looking to purchase, they are typically looking for a very specific combination of genes. They're looking for a very specific expression of traits, and they're also looking for male or female. So again, you're selling beautiful animals, and we would love to be able to guarantee, male versus female, but there's been a lot of things as far as we're pour checking, and it's not 100%. We would like to say is a higher probability. Excuse me. We would like to say that it's a higher probability of success. It's not 100%. It's not guaranteed. So all of that being said, it brings us to this video. We're going to talk about a gecko we call Patience. That's her name. And the reason her name is very relative to this video and kind of the opposite of what we kind of live, eat, breathe by, is that we purchased from Tara. Tara Lee is amazing. A large portion of our collection has come directly from Tara Lee, as well as mixing things of several breeders out there. And sometimes you come across things where you're like, okay, cool. You see someone, their stock. We do it ourselves from time to time, where you'll offer up mystery packs. And anyone who knows Tara Lee's collection, you would know that she has nothing but non-stop stunners. That being said, if you have the chance to acquire a mystery pack or any geckos from her, I would jump on it if I were you guys. So this was about, I believe, last year she had mystery packs, and I believe we grabbed up 5. And sometimes mystery packs come with lineage and sometimes without. When we do ours, we typically sometimes do them once a year, where we'll offer 4 or 5 mystery packs. We offer lineage with ours just because we keep lineage on all our geckos, so it just makes it easier to keep on moving forward. That being said, the mystery pack we acquired from Tara Lee came with lineage. One of the 4 girls out of the 5, this girl, Patience, came from Tantrum and Ruby Tuesday, and she is amazing. So I believe she has like 1 or 2 small Dalmatian spots, which is fine. We don't kind of shy away from it, but she is an amazing phantom red. She's hypo, she's tangerine, so it's all these genes into this gecko. But when you look at her, she looks so basic, but for us it's a clean slate, and it's definitely a multi-gene animal that we can literally build upon. So reason we reference Patience in this video is because, again, you take advantage of what you see out there. If you see a mystery pack out there from your favorite breeders, you probably should jump on it. Just have patience and grow them out. Maybe you'll get exactly what you're looking for out of those hatchlings. Maybe you won't. But regardless, you got to have patience is what we talk about it on our Patreon. And on our Patreon, we try to say, reference, we understand that crested geckos are a niche. It is not a necessity. So that being said, we still want to set standards by our own company and hopefully for the industry, whatever that may look like. Even for high-end animals, whether mid-grade animals, whatever it may be. So we kind of put it in play for our own business plan. Again, I give you guys a little mental snapshot of what we go through. And we said, all right, well, if you're going to buy a baby, you're going to still have all the genes you have, all the traits that you have involved in that baby, that hatchling. You got to watch it develop, mature. You got to figure out whether it's going to end up being male or female, depending upon your needs as well. And then you move forward. So if we look at it like that, when we go to make offerings, if we're going to offer up a hatchling, and it also depends upon the project you are working, a hatchling, let's say a high white, a pairing that's very high end for us. And let's say breeders that we're, letting go out of that may sell for $2,000. Are you guys needing some assistance with your crested gecko breeding programs? Well, check out our Patreon. We've been running it here now for pretty much close to 2 years. Everyone's been extremely excited. We keep adding new perks every time you guys turn around. We give away exantics, we give away high whites, we give away lily whites. We actually upgraded this year to we're giving away over 12 geckos every single year. That averages out to at least a gecko a month, and we've been doing over that. So you are not going to want to miss becoming a part of the Flawless Crested Geckos Patreon family. There's 2 tiers. There's a $50 tier and there's a $100 tier. You get all your funds back in the form of Flawless Crested Gecko savings account. You can take advantage of having 5% additional off by being a Patreon member, as well as having year-round free shipping. You guys are not going to want to miss this, so go head over to patreon.com/Flawless Crested Geckos. But now you're talking about something quite different, because you're dealing with a time gap where you're going to have to take time and raise this gecko up to size, but you still have everything in the hatchling that you pretty much have in the breeder size. The only difference is time. So in theory, you still have to figure out what your supply and demand is for those hatchlings or for those genes. So again, for sake of the video, I'll just throw it out there. You have 8 to 10 gram, 8 to 15 gram. None of that is concrete, just creating a scenario. Hatchling out of that project, out of the same parents, that you're consistently able to move $2,000 crested gecko for male or female. Again, I don't want to dig too deep into that, but now with this one, you decide to offer it up for $750, and you're able to capitalize on that through marketing, pushing, and promotion. But anyway, you're able to move that. Why is that a good price point for that scenario? Well, it's a good price point because let's say that breeder is looking for a male that you have available. That's $2,000, but they're not in a huge rush, and they see another absolutely beautiful hatchling that you have available out of the same pairing. They decide to get that for $750, and they're going to grow it up. They grow it up, and let's say at that point it doesn't go well for them. Let's say it's actually female. Then a few different things can happen, which typically happens. Either they keep that insane female, or they can now sell it for more, depending on the scenario of what they want to get for it. They may get the value to turn around and come back and buy the male they're looking for, or anywhere else. It could be for anyone. But the basis of it is your price that we set at a hatchling, which we rarely offer, tends to increase over time. Now, by how much, it depends. If that male that's again $2,000, we may have a female for $2,500, and again, in a perfect world, they're the same size. Now that 10-15 gram hatchling now stays, and now it develops into a 25, a 30 gram crested gecko develops, and it's absolutely phenomenal, mind-blowing. 2 different things happening. All right, 25 grams, it's a male, drops hemipenes. Now you've held it for a year, 8 months, however long it may be. It's grown within your care. Now it moved from that $750 price maybe up to $1,500. Why 1500? Because 15 is not ready to breed. You still have a ready to breed that set a standard for you for that project at $2,000, and it's almost there. Maybe somebody doesn't want to spend the $2,000 but wants into the same project, and now they can jump on it for the 1500 and finish growing it out for the next 6 to 8 months and be ready to breed. Or in that same scenario, you grow that $750 baby out to now it's 25, 30 grand and it's a female. Now at that point, you're still making it available for purchase, but instead of it being $750, you're now turning around and you may transition it to $1,750 or, you know, maybe $1,500 still. It's still not ready to breed. It still has quite some time to keep growing, but again, it's still substantially lower than that $2,500 guaranteed female that may be ready to breed. So again, in this lifetime and in business, you have two things. You have time and money. So with the time and money, you got to figure out which route you want to go. If you're not in a rush, you're going to go with the time. Spend the least amount of money on exactly what you want. Therefore, you can free up funds to do different things. Again, geckos is not everything. It's not going to take over your life, and it shouldn't. But at the same time, you can focus on the projects, get exactly what you want, and not necessarily have to settle. I digress. Anyway, I'll do another video getting deeper into how we kind of set certain standards. And again, none of it is concrete, but we feel that it should kind of flow in that curve in some sort of fashion. But let's get back to Patience. We picked up Patience in that mystery pack from Tara Lee. She was one of the beautiful 4 females we were lucky enough that they ended up growing into, and we have one awesome male from her as well from that mystery pack now, and we'll figure out, you know, what we're gonna do. We're in no huge rush. Typically when we hatch, this year's hatchlings don't really become available to next year. We have kind of a cycle in how we do our hatching season and what becomes available and when. But that's enough talk, guys. Let's show off Patience. So this is Patience. She's still young. She's in that, what we call for our geckos, the terrible 2 stages, where she still kind of leaps and jumps and acts very, very crested gecko-ish. But I mean, that doesn't deter us from taking her out, playing with her. As you can see, her awesome base tone, that phantom. She has some portholing, but she's also tangerine, so we get to work with that gene and play with it on this red base. She has that awesome structure to be expected coming from Tara Lee. Can't speak highly enough of all of her productions and what she does with the Crested Geckos. We found pretty much like 1 Dalmatian spot on her body, 1 Dalmatian spot at the bottom of her tail. And again, like I said, we can work with that. Trying to get her as much screen time as she'll allow. Knowing her gecko mind, she's like, where's my food and leave me alone. Love her fringing down her back. It's not just straight on her dorsal line, on her dorsal pin line. It's kind of all sporadic. I'm not sure if the camera's picking it up, but overall she's just an absolute stunner of a gecko. Trying not to annoy her too much. She does fire deeper and darker, but I was hoping to get a better display of her today unfired, so you guys can get a full view of why we decided that we are hanging on to her. She's gorgeous, acting a little shy. All right, so that's Patience. I think it's a very, very adequate and sufficient name for her. You're gonna have to have patience in this Crested Gecko game. You really do, especially if you're chasing any type of goals, personal goals for yourself in your projects. That being said, again, if you have the opportunity to jump on younger hatchlings, we are never going to want to kind of steer you away from your goal. Again, for most people, Crested Geckos are a hobby, and there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people aspire to be breeders. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But at the same time, you're going to want to make sure you don't overextend yourself. You don't buy geckos from us or anyone that's outside of your means. You want to make sure that everything is well controlled within your budget, within reason, and it will basically keep you in the game longer and stronger. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, this type of diamond series. I'm sorry I got on that tangent. Hopefully that helped kind of bring some things full circle for anyone that's interested. Hit that subscribe button. We have plenty of content coming your way. It's Will, Flawless Crested Geckos, and we out.